Dear students of class 8, welcome to you all. I would like to discuss the second chapter from trade to territory. In this chapter, we will find the coming of different European powers in India. One after another, they came to India. It is the first arrived the Dutch East India Company, Portuguese East India Company. Portuguese, we know that Vasco da Gama, the famous sailor who arrived in Calicut in the year 1498. And gradually the Portuguese captured or established trade posts or centers at Goa, Daman, Diu, Salsette Basin and many other places. And after the Portuguese, the Dutch, English, the French came to India. The purpose was established commercial, they were to carry on commerce, you see that trade in commerce in India and establish trade centers in India. Next came the Dutch East India Company. Dutch East India Company was formed in 1602. They first established the trading center at Machilipattanam. Besides Machilipattanam, they also established Chinsura, other trading centers, the post, Pulicord and Surat. English East India Company. It was actually the aristocratic class of England decided to form a company in 1599. However, the English East India Company was formed in 1600. The proposal was taken. It was in 1600, it was formed 31st December at the initiative of Charles Elizabeth I, the English Queen. And now it was granted the charter to trade with the East or Eastern countries. We know that gradually many other envoys arrived in India. They are namely William Hawkins in 1607. Although he was a failure, he came to the court of Jahangir. And another English envoy or ambassador came to the court of Jahangir in 1615. He was sent by the English monarch James I, and he was able to secure the trading right from Jahangir. Afterwards, we see that it is in this way. In 1639, it is said that after there was the first established permanent settlement Surat and many other Chandanagar and many other places. 1639, the English East India Company purchased a piece of land from the chieftain of Chandragiri and founded the city of Madras. And however, in Madras they built the first Fort St. George, which became the first English headquarter in southern India. And gradually we see that afterwards we can see the Bombay, when Charles II, the English monarch, married the Catherine of actually the Portuguese princess, then got as a dowry the Bombay village at that time. And it was, naturally, the Bombay was given to the hand of the English. Bombay was transferred to the English government or English company in 1668. Next, we see that in 1691, it was Aurangzeb who granted Farman to the English. In 1690, it is said Job Charnock arrived in the Bengal and under his initiative, the English East India Company purchased 3 villages from Sabarna Raichaudhuri. That is the village of Sudanoti, Govindapur and Kolkata, 1690. And afterwards we see that the 1696, similarly they built a fort called Fort William. And in 1717, the Mughal Emperor Farrukhsiyar granted their free trading right free trading right, duty-free trade. And this Farman was granted by Farrukh Shah, Mughal Emperor. Thus English became very powerful. We see that in this way, the English East India Company flourished in India. Next, the French East India Company. It was set up in the year 1664. And then they established their trading settlement at Surat, Machilipatnam, Pondicherry, Karikal, Mahe, Chimay, and Chandannagar. We know that next, why did the European companies target India? We know that India was at that time rich in resources or raw materials, that there is abundance of labor. Naturally, they decided to, the various East India companies, various European companies like the Dutch, English, French, they arrived one after another. And thus they established their settlements. And thus we see that moreover, at that time the Industrial Revolution began. After the Industrial Revolution began in England in the mid of the 18th century, the industrialization brought about the establishment of factories in England and many other places. From England it spread to other places, namely France, Germany and other European countries. So this industrialization also led to the development of colonialism in India and other parts of the world. Now, naturally, when the European companies came, they were searching for market. When they actually produce the goods, they are searching for markets to sell their products, and also they are also searching for the new colonies, and so that they could get the incessant supply or continuous supply of raw materials, so that they could carry on trade and commerce or industrialization. However, European trading company, a rivalry began among the different European companies for the occupation of colonies, or selling the products in different the places. So the process of colonization I have already discussed, or what was colony discussed, and what was imperialism already I discussed in the first chapter. So we see that next we see that causes of conflict between the Siraj and English. Siraj-ud-Dawla was the Nawab of Bengal and English East India Company. What were the issue? The first and foremost, the issue of the duty-free trading right. Duty-free trading right was given by or granted by Farrukh Shah. Naturally, we know it caused heavy damage, heavy loss of financially the Siraj suffered, and naturally the Siraj wanted to stop it, the practice of duty-free trading right. Moreover, Siraj also forbade the English and the French not to construct any fort. The French obeyed, but the English started the construction or carried on the construction of Fort William. And moreover, there is also other issues, namely the conspiracy made by Robert Clive to install on the throne the Mir Jafar, his commander-in-chief of the Siraj, and dethroning Siraj or Nawab. So we see that the Siraj actually came to know about the conspiracy and suddenly attacked Kasim Bazar and also attacked the Fort William. However, Fort William was captured, but the news reached to Madras, and ultimately Robert Clive and other, the generals, they recovered Calcutta or recaptured it, and Fort William also, and on 20th June 1756. And now, in the following year, that is on 23rd June 1757, the Battle of Plassey occurred or began. You see, you know that it was unavoidable, and the English decided to dethrone the Nawab Siraj, because Siraj was not actually liking the English East India Company. So in the battle which followed, it was not really a battle, it was not really fought. Only a portion of the army under Mir Mohan or Madanlal and Mir Mohan fought with the English, but later they were defeated. The Nawab was defeated and fled and recaptured, or he was arrested and killed. So What was the result of it? Now virtually the English became the master of Bengal, and the successive Nawab became puppet in the hands of the English. Now we see that what were the causes of rivalry between Mirakashim and English? After the death of Siraj, Mir Jafar was placed on the throne, but Mir Jafar was unable to meet the growing demands of the English. Naturally, at that time the treasury almost became empty, and Mir Jafar could not meet the excessive demands of the English. Actually, Mir Jafar was removed, and his son-in-law was brought to the throne. He is Mirakashim. Mirakashim, we know that he thought that the English thought that he would be a puppet in the hands of the English. However, he was an independent-minded man. He shifted his capital from Murshidabad to Munger and began to train the soldiers on European line. And he also objected vehemently the duty-free trade carried on by the East India Company. However, the battle began, the Battle of Boxer, and the Battle of Boxer, which happened in 1764, the combined armies of Mirakashim and Shujauddaulah, the Nawab of Awadh, and Shah Alam II, the Mughal emperor, were defeated by Hector Munro, the British general. This is what happened as a result of it. The result was so you see that as a result, the English could establish the control over the entire northern India, and now they could carry on their trade freely, and because they established, and also they were able to capture huge amount of resources from India, because in 1764 Battle of Boxer happened. In the following year, that in 1765, Shah Alam II granted another right. It is called Diwani right. Diwani right. It is Diwani right. Diwani right. What was Diwani right? By this right, Shah Alam II gave them to collect taxes. English would be able to collect taxes from Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. So this is really a greatest victory of the English, not only politically but economically. So now you see that afterwards we see that the British now gradually was expanding their empire in India, and because they realized that without political expansion, they would not be able to carry on systematic economic exploitation in India. So naturally, establishment of political supremacy was very essential. Naturally, we see that they adopted three policies of expansion, British. What are the policy? Policy of warfare, policy of subsidiary alliance, and doctrine of lapse. So by the policy of warfare, they captured many places, defeated the Mysoreans, defeated the Sikhs, defeated the Marathas, and many other, the provincial rulers. And similarly, the subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley in 1798. What was this policy? By this policy, the English diplomatically, it was a diplomatic policy that those who signed this alliance or subsidiary treaty, he would be a subordinate ally under the British, because British troops was to be maintained by the native ruler, and moreover, a British resident was to be kept in the capital of the native ruler. Moreover, the native ruler would not be able to sign any treaty without the permission of the Britishers, or the native ruler would not be able to declare any war against any other ruler or any other power without the permission of the native ruler, without the permission of the Britishers. Moreover, so this whenever any native ruler signed the treaty, he was his sovereign power was completely taken away by the Britishers. So he became a completely subordinate ally under the British. We see that in this way, the subsidiary alliance, first man to sign the treaty was Nizam of Hyderabad. and many other rulers also signed the treaty. Doctrine of lapse. It was introduced by Dalhousie. It was introduced by Dalhousie. We know that at that time there is a rule, Hindu rule, that in absence of natural heir, any ruler, a native ruler, could adopt a son as a successor to the throne. However, we see that what happened, by this doctrine of lapse, Dalhousie declared that his kingdom, the rulers who had no natural heir, his kingdom or their kingdoms would be annexed to the British Empire. So that was, by this policy, the native rulers lost their kingdom. For example, Jhansi, Nagpur, Udaipur, Sambalpur, Satara, etc. So these are that policies by which gradually the British established their political control over the entire Indian subcontinent. And next next class, I will discuss the conflict between the Mysoreans, English and the Mysore, and conflict with the Marathas, between the English and the Marathas, and also in brief, if necessary, Carnatic wars. And thus we see that although Anglo-Sikh war was not given in some books, if it not necessary, I shall discuss it. Thank you all, and we will meet next day.